All right, let's talk about predicting the future. We've all been there, right? Trying to guess next quarter's sales or figure out exactly how much inventory to order. For decades, this whole process has been, well, a mix of art, science, and just a ton of gut feel. But that is all changing, and fast. Today, we're going to dive into the revolution that's happening in forecasting, a journey from painful manual spreadsheets to genuinely powerful and accessible AI.
And this quote, wow, it just absolutely nails the core problem. For way too long, forecasting has felt exactly like this. Like trying to drive a car by looking only in the rearview mirror. It's been reactive, it's been slow, and honestly, it's often been flat out wrong. So what if we could finally start looking forward with some real confidence? To really get where we're going, we first have to appreciate just how broken the old way of doing things really is. So let's talk about the all-too-common forecasting crisis that businesses are dealing with day in and day out. The really sneaky part is how all these problems just stack on top of each other. You have teams getting stuck in these endless weekly meetings, revising forecasts based on, gut feelings, or even internal politics. They're basically flying blind to major economic shifts, just relying on old patterns. And that leads to these massive mistakes. I mean, think about it. Having 30 to 40% excess inventory just sitting on shelves, literally destroying your profit margins. It's just this brutal cycle of inefficiency and frustration. But back in 2017, a team over at Facebook, now Meta, decided, hey, we can build a better way. And so they created a tool specifically to cut through this mess. It's a tool they designed to bring high-quality forecasting out of the statistics lab and put it into the hands of the people who actually need it. And this is Profit. Now, it's not just another algorithm. It was built from the ground up to be totally different. It's an open-source library that you can use in Python or R, and its entire philosophy is about making powerful forecasting accessible, super fast, and automated, even if you're not a data scientist. And this is exactly why it just took off. See, unlike the older, really complex models, Profit is designed for the real world. That means it automatically handles messy, incomplete data, and it's tough against outliers and weird spikes. You can tune it with simple, understandable settings, no PhD in statistics required. And this wasn't some academic toy. It was battle-tested at an insane scale across Facebook's own apps, which gave it instant, massive credibility. So how does Profit actually do what it does? Well, its magic isn't hidden away in some complex black box. It's actually in how it breaks down the future into a few core pieces that, well, we can all understand. It all comes down to this simple, kind of elegant equation. Profit basically sees a time series, your sales data for instance, as just the sum of a few parts. There's a trend, there's seasonality, there are holidays, and then there's a little bit of random noise. Let's break down what each of those actually means. So first up, you've got GFT, which is the trend. This is the big picture, right? The long-term growth or decline of your data. Is your business growing? Is it maybe starting to hit a plateau? Profit is actually smart enough to model this using flexible growth curves, and it can even automatically detect when the trend changes direction. Next up is SAS of T, or seasonality. These are all the recurring, predictable patterns. Just think about it. Retail sales spike every single weekend, and, ice cream sales go way up every summer. Profit can automatically find these weekly, monthly, and yearly cycles to make its forecast way, way more accurate. And finally, there's H of T, for holidays and events. These are the one-offs. They don't fit a regular pattern, but they have a huge impact. We're talking about things like Black Friday, a major marketing campaign, or maybe even a Super Bowl ad. You can just give Profit a list of these special events, and it will learn their specific impact on your data. So that model, that ability to break things down, is what makes Profit so powerful and, honestly, so intuitive. But how does it really stack up against other forecasting methods out there in the wild? This table gives us a fantastic overview. So on one end, you've got something like ARIMA, a classic statistical model. It's great for simple, linear trends, but it needs a lot of manual work to get it right. On the complete other end, you have deep learning models like LSTMs. They're incredibly powerful for complex patterns, but they need massive amounts of data and are basically a black box. And Profit? It just hits that sweet spot right in the middle. It's easy to understand, it's great for typical business data with seasons and holidays, and it requires very little tuning. And that comparison right there highlights a really critical lesson in data science. It is so tempting to reach for the newest, most complicated model you can find.
thinking it's automatically going to give you the best results. But that is often a trap, especially when you're working with the kind of data sets most businesses have.
And this slide illustrates the point perfectly. Look on the left. We see profits forecast for t-shirt sales. It's smooth, right? It makes sense. It captures the general pattern. Now look at the right. This is a forecast from something called neural profit, a more complex version with neural networks. Look at how jagged and jumpy that is. It is trying so hard to fit every single little bump in the past data that it completely misses the bigger picture. This is a classic textbook case of overfitting, and it leads to a much worse prediction for the future.
So the key lesson here is you have to match the tool to the data. For most business forecasting problems, where you've maybe got a few years of weekly or daily data, profit is just an amazing starting point. Those more complex neural network models, they need enormous data sets. We're talking thousands upon thousands of data points to learn effectively. So the rule of thumb is always start with the simplest model that can actually do the job.
Okay, so we've gone from painful manual spreadsheets to a powerful automated tool like Profit. But for a lot of people, there's been one major barrier left.
And it's this question. To use Profit, you've traditionally needed to be an analyst or a developer, someone who can write code. And that has kept it out of the hands of so many people in marketing, sales, and operations who would get the most value out of it. Well, that barrier is now officially gone. The final step in this whole evolution is here, and it's making these incredible tools truly accessible to absolutely everyone. This quote from Dr. Amina Yonis just captures this next wave perfectly. AI assistants. These are new platforms that basically act as a bridge, giving anyone access to powerful tools like Profit without ever having to write a single line of code. The whole process it's a game changer. It's so simple. Imagine you're a marketing manager. Instead of having to find and ask a data analyst, you just upload your sales spreadsheet and type in plain English, forecast my sales for the next 6 months, and make sure you account for our summer sale. Behind the scenes, the AI writes all the Python code, runs the profit model, and in seconds, boom, you get back the charts and a simple plain English summary of what's coming. And with that, the journey is pretty much complete. We've gone all the way from the slow, manual grind of forecasting to a world of automated, AI-powered foresight that literally anyone can tap into. This one slide really shows the entire story. We started in what I'm calling manual misery, with spreadsheets and pure gut feel. Then we got expert models like ARIMA, but you needed a statistician. Step 3 was Profit, which made powerful forecasting accessible to analysts. And now we're in the final stage, AI for all, where no-code platforms put these amazing capabilities into everyone's hands. The tools to see around the corner, they're not locked away in some lab anymore. They are here. They are available to anyone with data and a question. So the real question isn't if we can predict the future anymore. It's what are you going to ask first? Thanks for tuning in.